Did we need the extra 600 points to
I'm like trying to dance with them, and they're like, no, I'm going to keep KOing.
Like, absolutely not. Not going to happen. As we head in here to our draft, and I would love to hear both of your thoughts on this meta and what they're picking as we go through it. Ignorance, your purple team. Team YT, your orange team. Starting off with the Trevenant band, and then Gyarados from Team YT.
Yeah, Kyle, I mean, you mentioned this Tyranitar. You wouldn't mind seeing it. You certainly prefer the Gardevoir. Does Ignorance need to maybe pick the Gardevoir for themselves early so they can isolate Sosad Sam off of it? Or is that getting a little too niche?
I don't know. I mean, you see the Slowbro ban immediately. That tells me that they want to play something strong because they do not want to go against a Slowbro Unite. Umbreon's always a good first pick. I mean, you could shut down whatever carry, and it's just one of those Pokemon that you don't want to play against. Sosad Sam, though, it looks like they're going to grab that T-Tar.
Yeah, this was something I was worried about. The second I saw no T-Tar, no Phalanx ban, I was worried. I was wondering who was actually going to pick this thing up. Now Phalanx going over to the other side. Husky, which do you favor in this matchup, T-Tar or Phalanx?
I feel like T-Tar, if it gets online, can be really dangerous, but I love Phalanx running around with all the little guys. It's my favorite thing to watch. I can't even get mad when a Phalanx KOs me. It's like, oh, just the little guys.
Oh, what a cute little group that took me down there. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Two high-tier picks, though, out of YT. Sylveon, one of the most picked Pokemon. Tyranitar is really having its best day today, not yesterday. I think, despite it winning the event, I think it's having better showings this afternoon. A kilo on Hoopa and then Diff on the Snorlax that we were talking about last game, Sprague.
Yeah, Snorlax is just one of those Pokemon that I feel like a great defender player can slot right into, and you have a couple amazing options, right? You've got Yawn in case they've got some squishier carry Pokemon on the other side, and then you've got Block if you want to try to move around a real force. And it looks like they might have to run that into Ignorance here because there isn't too much I'd want to Yawn except for that Delphox, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to get onto that Delphox. You don't want it to be able to use either Mystical Fire or Fire Blast for free. So, I mean, that is your prime target right there if you're at Pikatif on that Snorlax.
Yeah, and final pick, we got Fwee back on the Buzzwole. Let's go. Not many teams are pulling it out, but there are a lot of those beautiful comfort picks for Team YT. We're going to say goodbye to Husky and Kyle. A couple quick words before you go. Husky?
Go Delphox. Neon looked great on it last time. Let's go Delphox. That's my main.
Amazing. Kyle?
Just thanks for having us. This has been an amazing tournament. Some great teams. We have a couple more games left to see today, and we get to see who gets to go to Honolulu in a couple months.
Thank you so much. Two amazing casters from the community, Kyle and Husky. Thank you both as we get ready for this amazing game between YT and Ignorance. Our team's setting up for this first match here. Team YT's tournament life still going strong. A team that a lot of people could see winning this whole thing, Doopsnacks.
Yes, we definitely can. Both teams can do this right now. But I mean, there's no easy road ahead. I mean, we have two teams that we've seen at the top of the UCS all season long, and they're going to have to square it off again. YT, again, maybe having an underwhelming season to their own standards and their fans' standards, but they've got an opportunity to kind of take advantage of the last opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a better YT than I kind of have seen all season as they were, leaning back into these Pokemon that they know they can play well in that last match we saw them on. I'm really excited to see them here in game number one. Ignorance, your purple team. Team YT, your orange team as we head into game one of the semifinals of the final stretch. A lot of finals in that.
A lot of finals. One best of three separates one of these teams from the finals, obviously.
Got
and
finals
of course,
in there again.
The other team going home. Well, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Off our stage.
That's right. You're not allowed to be on the stage. It's our job to kick you out. It's a sad part of the job, but we have to do it.
It's the worst part.
Hoopa in here causing some real trouble, actually having to send Scribblenaught down into this central area to deal with it. This is that aggressive play style that we're seeing a ton out of Japan. And look how much time they're wasting. Look how many resources they are wasting on the side of it. And look at this
shot.
Steal. They got the red. They got all of it. They got everything they wanted. No. Oh.
If they got out, that would have been unspeakable. I think that's the FF at 5 situation. Like, you just got to set it down. Ignorance, down, not out. Great moves by the cerebral leader of Team YT.
That's right, the cerebral
The Excel sheet samurai.
I
Team
like
YT.
that. You know what? Can I be the Excel sheet samurai? I swear I'll learn Excel, I promise.
Well, we got a hyper voice going through and tons of pressure being put on Ignorance. YT sees this as their opportunity, and they're not going to give Ignorance a chance to step up.
No, and look at this here. This Hoopa from Akilo on YT just being so incredibly aggressive. And with that EXP share on, being a supporter, you're really not giving up anything by making plays like this. All you're doing is taking things away from Ignorance.
Yeah, and YT is now living in the central of the opposing team. Soup Chef just level 3, stepping up. Man, can I do anything here? Jupiter 5 going to jump on Akilo, going to see if they can do anything, but Akilo's just kind of cruising around the map, leashing Jupiter around, and you want to talk about a resource that's being expended, that's time, and the winner of that is YT.
Absolutely, yeah, if you're making sure that an enemy carry Pokemon on the other team is being slowed down, you're doing a great job for YouTube, and that is what they were doing right there. While this is happening though, Ignorance trying to take advantage of one of these paths being, you know, less manned here and trying to fight in this bottom path against YT. Hyper Voice Sylveon picking up a KO.
Yep, Protein Shakes there with Pika Diff going the heavy slam to see if they can catch him and sleeping in the bush. No such luck. Soup Chef putting down a rock tomb and just going to delay YT from getting back to pad, actually forcing them into the middle almost. They're going to have a little scrap. Meanwhile, the 1v1 up top rages on.
And here we go, 25 seconds until we see which Reggie is going to spawn in the bottom path and how these teams want to play it. If it's anything like what YT's been doing today, they're going to make their way to this bottom path and win this bottom Reggie. However, they've got resources all over the map, and they're getting caught right now.
They absolutely caught Fui. Akilo was there for the support, but they were just too late. I mean, there was such a good surprise jump onto Fui. The reaction time of Akilo really had no shot the way Hyperspace Hold works.
Yeah, I mean, look at this here. Phalanx is just such a tough Pokemon to deal with in those moments. The Iron Head to jump in, no retreat to push, right back into another huge, massive amount of burst damage from Iron Head, and there was nothing they could do about it. Team YT wasting a lot of time, making some great plays, but look at the scoreboard here, 118-0, and they're in no position to deal with this bottom Reggie.
No, but fortunately, this Tyranitar is almost online, right? Maybe you have a 630. There you go. Online, Regirock's here, Pika Diff gonna try. Yawn and into the heavy slam. A good combination, reverse of how you actually normally use those to trap players because they're trying to put them to sleep and then secure the objective.
Now, all the while, Team YT has been getting one thing ready, and that is that beautiful dress for Tyranitar as it's heading up to the top path. It has evolved, it's ready to go, and it's fighting here in the central area. We're gonna have to see how Ignorance wants to deal with this because it is now online and they are jumping in for it. Here comes Fui.
Fui into the action, forcing out the Phalanx Unite. Now Fui gets caught low. I was shocked that Jupiter jumped in, but the support of the team was right behind them. That Regieleki hits, and they're gonna get tons of points in. Now they're taking KOs too.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? This Tyranitar just gets folded. The Phalanx showing a little bit of supremacy.
251-0 right now. Tier 2 goal zone gone, and Team YT is struggling. They have a scaling Pokemon in Tyranitar, and it's finally online, but they are so far behind here, almost at the 5-minute mark. This is going to be a very hard match to come back from.
Goop at level 11 already, outpacing this Tyranitar, and despite the Tyranitar being online, that exchange that we just saw up top really was the Phalanx show. And honestly, shows the resilience that Pokemon has. I mean, they engaged alone and were able to sustain for a couple seconds before the team finally showed up in Ignorance, and they were able to turn the tides on that push.
All right, here we have Tyranitar in the central area, possibly looking for a pick on this Umbreon as it moves down to this bottom path. We can see a little bit of fighting in this bottom path. They're just trying to suss out exactly who is here and how they're going to move forward towards this Reggie. You can see checking all the tall grass there with Hyper Voice Sylveon. Team YT is actually moving towards the top path. They do not want this Regieleki to walk into their goal zone. We're going to have to see how they want to play this. They also want to make sure that they don't rip it as fast as they possibly can, so they have another one moving at the end of the match. Big catch on the Phalanx, and it's down.
Yeah, popping Fui, using the Unite to make sure it's a sure thing. Fanciful Fireworks are on the goal zone to try and insulate it a little bit. If they can get SoSat Sam, eject button into the overheat, but they're going to make it out with a sliver of HP. Meanwhile, Chaotic is trying to suss out a Hyper Voice target. Fee with Squirrel on the backside. They get put down. Ignorance still holding strong here. And now Team YT can't even really contest.
Yeah, Team YT going to have to pull back right now, although they are in a decent position. If this Regieleki can walk under the 4-minute mark, it means we're not going to see another one here before Rayquaza. And that's kind of all they want out of this situation. Now they are going to need to deal with it before it gets too close to the 2-minute mark. The reason behind this, if that Reggie walks to that home goal zone under the 2-minute mark, you've essentially unlocked Remote Stadium, Zapdos is back, and you've got free scoring on the home goal zone.
Scribble not just hanging out and making sure they're a presence. Protein Shake is in the mix. Are they going to charge an over? You try and take it. They go straight in, but it's actually secured by Chaotic's Hyper Voice. And meanwhile, you have Aquila pulling the squad through. Jupiter kind of sussed it out, but they got stunned down very quickly. We got a fight kind of kicking up top as we're working through this Regirock, and now we have the Phalanx Unite. Jupiter using theirs, but So Sad Sam fires right back. They are under that threshold. They are so close. Can So Sad Sam secure it? They can, and Regirock is going to go to YT.
Regirock getting ready to be taken by YT. The rock tomb a little early right there as Regirock ends up leashing. What a brutal moment for Chaotic on the Sylveon. As soon as they come through the portal, Regirock with the boom, 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 a classic Retsu moment. That's right, we remember Retsu. We all remember the Dodrio.
Nobody forgets. People never forget. Finally, Soup Chef goes down, but YT is finding a way back in this. Certainly not on the scoreboard. At least the levels are starting to get closer to equilibrium here. So Sad Sam pulling back. Neon being relentless. I love Neon on this Delphox. They've been playing lights out all weekend.
Me too, and I think it's a great counter to this Tyranitar. Now, obviously, T-Tar can really close the distance with Sandtomb, but Mystical Fire Delphox can play around it pretty well. We're going to have to see if that can happen, though, as we get close to Rayquaza. It's a level 13 Tyranitar, and this is the big difference maker for this Pokemon. With level 13, Sandtomb is essentially up the entire time you were fighting it, making it an insane raid boss, extremely difficult for Ignorance to take down. But they are way up right now. 256 to 12. Team YouTube has to win a fight here. No scoring is going to be possible. They got to win here at Ray and win big. They're prepping for it right now, looking for their moment. We have the Tyranitar, and they're deciding how they want to start this and who they want to catch, and they're moving in.
Straight in. Super Chef gets popped up. They have to eject button out. Overheated charge doesn't find its target. Portal's down. Can actually make it through. Looks like they did, and they're going to have to gut back into the action very quickly. Fanciful Fireworks are down right on the portal, but they're charging another target. Neon takes a ton of damage, but they're flipping the script. They're appealing their attention. They've survived all these Unite moves that have just been fired by YT, and they didn't get anything for that effort, Spraggles.
And here they are just chipping up Rayquaza, moving back in on the Delphox, looking for the KO, and they get it!
Neon gets put down, and now the rest of Ignorance has to come back in. They're getting popped up. Protein Shake goes in. Umbreon Unite is out, and they're trying to get on top of Soup Chef. Soup Chef is trying to hold on. 2 players down on each side. So Sad Sam is getting engaged with. They're still standing. Soup Chef gets spilled like a bad chef, and Fweeb gets popped up, put down. 4 players down for Ignorance. YT needs to get it done in this minute. It's all on Fweeb. They need to close the charge. Overheat is there, and the KO is done! Fweeb!
Wei takes him down. There's a minute left. Delphox is running the Mystical Fire. Won't make it in time, but YouTube is still behind, being chased down by this Mystical Fire, and there it is. The Flame Charge picks up the KO. Multiple members of YT are back, but so are multiple members of Ignorance. 45 seconds on the clock, and Team YT still needs a bit of a miracle here. Tyranitar has 2 seconds off cooldown, and they need to run as they pick up a KO on Sylveon.
Now there's no opportunity but to rip here. Somebody's got to scramble and score, but Neon is laying in the fireballs like Super Mario, making sure nobody's coming through. There's a tier 1 standing still for Ignorance, and they can defend it particularly well. Soup Chef is there, defender on defender action, the power nap. They're going to sleep. They don't even want to make this happen because Phalanx is putting 10 in for each dink. They're getting it done.
That's right, Phalanx scoring in the main. Beautiful defense. Even though the fight went Team YouTube's ways, they were too bruised in that moment to do anything about it. 1 Pokemon up, and Ignorance is going to take game 1.
What an impressive showdown by Ignorance. I loved how they played that final fight. I love how they played that, what is it, Spraggles? Trademarked the mid-game.
The mid-game. I can't believe you trademarked the mid-game.
We have that on the production team, remember?
That's huge.
They're just turning tides of fights by themselves. They're having Jupiter and Soup just run, and Screwball just running ahead of them, and then you just have Neon unchecked over and over and over again.
Here we go, heading into our draft. Gyarados, Leafeon, Trevenant, and Umbreon banned. So Ignorance deciding with a 2-defender ban on their side, forcing YouTube to make a decision. How do they want to play this? I'm wondering if they're, thinking like, okay, we'll make them pick a defender here, and then we'll be able to steal away something we really want. They want Sylveon right away over to the side of Ignorance. It's going to be really interesting.
I actually don't think you care about the defenders, to be honest. I think it's more important to get chaotic on something like Sylveon in this point, without a doubt.
I agree. I would also think that maybe you want to steal away Phalanx right here. Instead of grabbing Sylveon, perhaps Phalanx. But chaotic has been a real factor in these games. Over to the side of Ignorance, we've got Crustle and we've got Phalanx, and they looked amazing last game.
They really, really did. And you can kind of see how like those two Pokemon work in tandem, right? The Rock Tomb and then the Phalanx Unite specifically, when it starts spinning, even charging, engaging enemies into the wall for the stuns and stuff, works out really well. If we're going to pick up Eldegoss, they're not going to be the one playing Eldegoss.
I kind of doubt it, but I'd honestly love to see it. We top path Eldegoss carry, let's go. Heading over to the side of Ignorance, we've got possibly a Mr. Mime. Huge yesterday. I mean, we saw so much of it out of Joey on Luminosity. Neon once again on this Delphox. I mean, looked amazing, and then they know, hey, if you pick T-Tar, I've got this. We have this ranged Pokemon in our back pocket that is really able to dance around you.
It almost feels like Ignorance is trying to bait them into a Tyranitar because they've kind of got it covered, right? And then they get a last counter pick to make a difference. They do need to find out a way to, much like YT needs to figure out Neon, Ignorance needs to figure out So Sad Sam.
Absolutely. And here we go. Final pick heading over to the Scizor/Scyther. One of my favorite things about being here live, Doob Snacks, is the second they locked in Talonflame, I hear a massive, oh! But I don't realize that was a different game. I was like, dude, people are hyped for Talon right now.
People are really gassed up for Talonflame.
People are loving that Talonflame pick out there.
We've seen a good amount of, when I say good amount, more than zero of top path Talon, and it hasn't looked too bad. When you think about teams like DOL Kittens, they played a lot of top path Talonflame, as well as Nihao.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Talon is pretty underrated, but you need a Talon specialist on your team. It's a lot of these speedsters, I could see teams slotting them in, but someone has to go, no, I'm cracked on Meowscarada. I'm so good on Zoroark, right? You have to have that player, or you just can't bring that pick out. As what we're seeing right here is Team YT on the ropes. One game down. They need to win 2 in a row against Ignorance right here, or they are going home. Their chances of going to Worlds will be dashed, and Ignorance will be moving forward in our bracket to decide who our final stretch champion will be. Our team's getting ready to head into this very important game right now.
Ignorance is one 10-minute game away from being in the finals to take on G for the last world spot available for this year.
And here we go. Game number 2. Team YT, your purple team. Ignorance, your orange team. Again, Team YT on the ropes. They need to win 2 in a row to continue on through our final stretch. Ignorance right now looking to secure their spot to our grand finals today. Talonflame is in the top path as Doob Snacks predicted, or at least hoped, and I'm happy to see it as we see Mr. Mime and Phalanx against it. What a weird top path.
That's a tough path. That's a tough path to battle into. Scribblenaught, again, a very good early Pokemon is Mr. Mime, and Scribblenaught's Mr. Mime is solid, and it's just going to cause them fits. And Fwee's going to have a tough time engaging around those walls that they put up.
Yeah, here we go. Phalanx looking to make something happen here in this top path. Mr. Mime is just such a brutal supporter to deal with. A lot of them are like Hoopa in the top path with the stuns and autos. Same thing with LD with the crazy amount of slows. But man, Mr. Mime with that confusion once it hits 4 is just so difficult to deal with. The secure is incredible. The stun is huge. As we have 3 members of each team ready for this fight, Scyther making their way through the tall grass.
They're looking to backdoor So Sad Sam. They can't quite get the dual wing beat in and decide to just peel back, focusing only on the wild Pokemon.
You'll notice with Team YT, the second some of these wild Pokemon populate or some of these objectives populate, they are gone like that. Just immediate. The coordination from Team YT is incredible.
Protein Shake able to use the dual wing beat again, this time to keep anybody from YT scoring, and this is just getting more time for Soup Chef, Protein Shake, Scribblenaught, Neon to get online, and most importantly, Goop.
I gotta say, looking at Team YT's comp, there's some really interesting things, but if I'm Ignorance, I'm pretty scared of Slowbro if I'm playing Scyther. I feel like it's one of the big counters for this Pokemon, right? We've seen it time and time again that Scyther just gets shut down in the final fight by a slow beam. It feels like the reason we don't see it competitively. I wonder if Ignorance is going to change my mind about that today.
I'm thinking they're going to lean on Goopiter to pull that attention, right? You kind of send in Goopiter first, and then you have Protein Shake pull up and try and clean everything up afterwards after those resources expended, like the slow beam.
Take a look at this here. Mime in a lot of trouble right now, just deciding how they want to fight this. They do move in. KO over to the Eldegoss as Crustle is just kind of hanging out in this tall grass, giving the team more vision. Moving down to the bottom path, YT in a little better spot than they were in our last game here as they are getting ready for this bottom objective. It feels like this is their bread and butter. If they're able to start with this Reggie, they're in a really good place.
Yeah, and just again, those Swablu Altaria populate, those Swablu Altaria are gone. YT all over it. Ignorance, again, keeping pace, but I think they'd like to push it a little bit here to try and bring some balance because YT is doing a better job in the early stages.
I got to say, you want to look at balance right here. Neither team has scored a single point yet. Up in the top path, it looks like they are fighting and possibly Phalanx can score here. Regirock getting extremely low. This is exactly what YT does all the time. Coalesce around an objective or wild Pokemon and deletes it before you can even finish a sentence.
They're one of the teams that have still, like, Season 2 focus fired down in the bottom Reggie, right? Other teams might have been stressing the top a little bit, split pushing whatever when they can. But right now it's YT saying the bottom objective is the objective we want, and that bottom goal zone is the one we want to break, and they do.
Yes, they do, as Reggie Alecki starts moving towards the Tier 2 goal zone of Team YT. They're going to need to figure out how they want to deal with this. Last game, this was the moment everything went wrong for YT. We once again have Phalanx moving around. They're looking through the central area. They're looking to see if they can take a fight here. Mime walking, pushing them back right here. They're far off the goal zone. They need to move. Really nice unit, but stopped by the barrier. It finds a wall every time this Unite move finds a wall.
Scribblenaught bullied out completely, but because of the wall, nobody goes down on the side of Ignorance after that push.
What an insane moment. Somehow, Talonflame finds a way to hit a wall with the Unite move. The game will literally create walls where there weren't walls for Talonflame's Unite move to do absolutely nothing. It's crazy.
It really, really is. Taking a quick inventory of the levels here, and YT still leading the charge there. I wanted to see a little bit of magic out of Ignorance here, but I think that's pulling away from them. Might need to turtle up a little bit. Use Neon where you can and get cheeky scores if you can. Goopiter and Scribblenaught on a mission here, seeing if they can put a little pressure on Fweet.
Yeah, and this is a nice team to do it, right? You've got the big stuns from Mime and Secure, and then you've got this huge burst damage from the Phalanx. Being pushed out now by Chaotic, we can see Reggie spawning in the bottom path in 20 seconds. We've got the level 9 Scyther. So this is its moment, right? It's going to look for Gardevoir or Sylveon, maybe even Talon, and just try to burst it down in one goal. There it is. It's found Sam. What a sneaky little Scyther. They don't know that this bug is in the tall grass waiting to make a big play.
They're waiting for Goopiter to be able to engage. They force out the Fairy Singularity and the Delphox Unite, and they jump right on top, but they're able to make it out. Scyther Unite is popped. They can't get a KO. Now they just have to retreat back through.
That is such a disappointing Unite move for how beautiful of a play that was. They didn't know it was there, hiding in the tall grass all alone. And once again, Team YT is hanging out with a Reggie in the bottom path, and they're going to get rid of it before I can finish my sentence.
There you go. Now Reggie Alecki is up there. Scribblenaught at least has good eyes on where Fweet is, so they can't get surprised in that sense. But we need to see something out of this Scyther because Protein Shake has kind of been motoring up and down the map without really being impactful. And as soon as I say that, they get eviscerated by a Gardevoir.
We need to see something out of this Scyther. Cut to Scyther getting KO'd immediately as Talonflame heads to the top path. Let's see if its Unite move can find a wall. This time it actually doesn't have it. Big time KO. And we have Crustle pushing back right now. Talonflame getting caught. And it looks like this push from YT is getting stymied here as Scyther is moving up to the top path with the Delphox. Only 3 members of YT. They're in a little bit or a lot of bit of trouble here.
They're coming up from the bottom side. Protein Shake goes in right on the Fanciful Fireworks, and if this is the engagement, this is the one you not. Gardevoir finally goes down. Chaotix on the backside. They need to get picked up. Neon, Soup Chef, and company are putting the pressure on. It's Neon with the KO streak of 2. Make it 3. Protein Shake peeling back. Now this Reggie Alecki is getting shredded, and of course, Neon steps up and says, putting the team on my back for a second.
They did put the team on their back, even for just a second, but you got to say, Team YT only having 3 members of the team at the objective, knowing they were going to go down, still secured it before getting out of there. Obviously, they got out of there via the Pokemon Center, right? They were knocked out, but still impressive stuff from YT.
Yeah, but what it did, that's a consolation prize for sure, because now Neon is 13, and they are a menace, and they're going to be a problem for this squad. Now, Ignorance can play kind of around Goopiter, because Neon is so good on this Delphox and so elusive that they can kind of just be by themselves, roam, and cause havoc wherever they go.
Yeah, this Delphox is going to be a real problem. 11, that massive power spike where Mystical Fire is going to start helping to reset the cooldowns of your moves is huge. 13, so they've got the extra move speed when they're sliding around, is also massive. And just being a high-level carry is a tough thing to deal with. Look at this here. Just able to find every member of Team YT in the tall grass by throwing this Mystical Fire. Crustle does go down, and Team YT once again might be taking another bottom Reggie.
That's very true. I like how Ignorance has managed to pull back up in this experience race. YT has been leading that pace. We have 15 seconds away from Rayquaza Spragos, a Regice taken by YT, and now they just need to close the door on game 1.
This is one of the most confusing plays that I've seen from Picadiff. Why are you looking to score 9 points right now when Rayquaza is coming at the 2-minute mark? That feels like that could have been catastrophic for YT, and that would be horrible because this is YT's last chance at Worlds. If they don't win this Ray fight and win this game, they are going home. They will not be heading to Honolulu. We see Scyther looking for the Sylveon. Talonflame already down.
Talonflame already down. We're moving back to the middle. Scribblenauts putting some pressure on the team. Showtime, Spearfinger's right in the middle, but there's a nice Fairy Singularity, knocking out multiple targets for Ignorance, pulling them all in, but it's actually YT that ends up falling. The Phalanx Unite is too strong. Protein Shake getting in the mix. Picadiff is now low, surfing into a wall. They're going to get put down here in short order. Meanwhile, Soup Chef starts chipping onto the Rayquaza by themselves, but who's standing but Chaotic? They're looking to turn the tides. There's almost no HP on Neon, but Chaotic's trapped between a Rock Tomb. They're getting X-scissored out, and they're getting spaced out. Chaotic cannot find a target. Talonflame Fui picks up Phalanx, and all of a sudden all of YT is standing. Ignorance is on respawn.
Ignorance is on respawn. YT is back, and they are ripping Rayquaza. They need this Ray right now. They need to get into the air with Talonflame. Here comes the Mystical Fire, and it's secured by YT. YT gets Rayquaza.
They now have to cover these goal zones, see if they can break Fui's shield, break some of these shields. This goal is this score is so close, but they can't stop Fui. And that's going to be the first leg of this race to fall as the rest of the team's going to score.
Look at this here. They broke the shield on the Slowbro. They have not broken it on Gardevoir or Sylveon. They would love to get both of these scores in if they can. 2 members down right now for Ignorance. YT in such an amazing spot. Huge score. 96 points go in with only 30 seconds left, and a massive Fairy Singularity. YT is still in this thing.
YT, what a bounce back on that fight. They had a great engagement. That Fairy Singularity was pulling in multiple targets. Ignorance battles through that, gets multiple KOs, but they can't quite close the door on like Picadiff was standing forever. That puts Soup Chef on the chase. All of a sudden, YT's coming off respawn, but if you saw those health pools, there was almost nothing left. And YT just stepped up and just A-pressed through them and took the Ray.
I mean, Duke Snacks, you wouldn't want this series to go any other way. All tied up. Now we're getting ready for our final draft between these two teams. Team YT, your orange team, Ignorance, your purple team. We are getting ready for the last match that one of these two teams will see in this entire season. The final stretch is full of moments like this. A last chance for these teams to possibly head to Honolulu.
Right off.
There's a tournament, by the way.
There's a tournament in Honolulu?
You didn't hear? Oh, it's just taking place.
Nobody tells
in
me
Honolulu.
anything.
Yeah, I think we did keep it from you, actually.
Scribblenauts off rip, grab an Umbreon. That's a great target. All of a sudden, it feels like the texture of these drafts is completely different.
Yeah.
Goopiter going back into the Phalanx, well, and I can't really blame them. After game 1 and game 2, that one wasn't like miserable by any means. It felt fairly good. They had a great team fight at the end. It's like, I don't think this Phalanx is the problem. Let's go back to that well.
And here we go. Ignorance locking in now Snorlax here. And yeah, the Phalanx. This has been a top pick throughout this tournament. Chaotic does not get the Sylveon, but we have seen this Alola and Ninetales. It doesn't even feel like a consolation prize to me. It feels like it's right there with Sylveon. I kind of liked it better.
Yeah, it's like out of the frying pan into the fire with Chaotic, right? If you sure ban the Sylveon, we just saw him win 2 games back-to-back against some really good teams on this A9. Aquilo locking in Talonflame. They'll of course be switching with Fui on that, I presume. As Neon back on this Mew, and gosh, Mew was impressive to me yesterday. Not just Neons, but Flareons as well.
And here we go, Protein Shake on the Blaziken. This is one of those Pokemon that can. Oh, we do not have a Gardevoir or something like that. We are locking in the
Giga Drain Petal Dance.
It's
going to go crazy.
It could be Giga Drain Petal Dance. Of course, at the same time, you could play this with, Giga Drain and Solar Beam. It's not going to be as hard of a counter to Phalanx, right? Because you're not up in the face of Phalanx. But you are able to do a ton of damage at range. And it does feel like So Sad Sam plays so good at range. Yeah,
based on the items, it does look like they're not going to be swapping that up. But certainly, if they're doing that, they're taking their sweet time. But yeah, and that's actually a Pokemon that Inder called out when we were talking to him. With So Sad Sam specifically, I asked him, what other Pokemon besides Gardevoir? He's like, well, I mean, his Venusaur is kind of disgusting. Playing at range is where Sam wants to be. That's where they cook from. Well, let the cook with a little sunlight.
I think at this point in the tournament, in our final stretch where one last team is going to qualify for Worlds, I think it is time to simply let them cook and see which one doesn't burn down the kitchen but burns down their opponents here as we head into this final game. Ignorance versus Team YT. The winner of this will be heading to our grand finals to face off against G, a very worrisome opponent for either of these squads. But right now in front of them is Ignorance and YT.
Another one for us. Another 10 minutes separates this team from the next step forward, and one of them packing their bags and going straight home. Well, not straight home. Again, just off the stage.
Again, you and I will bully them off the stage, as is our job that we asked for.
But we don't like.
Well,
we don't like doing it. Game 3, here we go.
Here we go, game 3. Ignorance, your purple team. Team YT, your orange team. This is the final match between these two squads, and the last time that I will screw up that sentence, I promise. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Fui in the top path here, rocking the orange side, and of course, Goop is going to roll up with Scribblenaught. Scribblenaught, I'd like to see them get their Umbreon online a little earlier than we did in game 1.
Yeah, we're going to see how they want to fight in this top path. Talonflame is an interesting one. It has pretty decent secure, but it also has to commit really hard for it, right? It has to jump in to do all of that burst damage, and that can put it in some real bad spots. So they need to protect it. However, in this bottom path, Alolan Ninetales online already, and it is a very tough Pokemon to deal with early.
It really, really is. Soup Chef going to just get A-pressed right here as we're trying to secure this Indeedee, and it kind of took more than I'd think. Meanwhile, K-Opener over to Fui on YT.
Wow, look at that, and they get, punished for it. However, Protein in a lot of trouble right here. How are they going to make it out? They are, no. The auto from Venusaur right there. The Ivysaur currently ready to fight here. We do see the Giga Drain. Here comes Mew to the top path as well.
Yeah, Chaotic just building a little bit of spacing, trying to help out clear that to make sure that So Sad Sam gets online. They want that Venusaur to be a Venusaur as soon as possible, and that makes fighting for Ignorance like exponentially more difficult.
Without question. Looking down into our bottom path right here, we see Pikadith has just been all alone dealing with this Snorlaxer. They left the defenders alone so everyone else could play in the top path, and now they're fighting once again over some of these wild Pokemon. They know that Mew has that Electro Ball. They know how good the secure is, so they have to be very careful with how they try to secure these wild Pokemon KOs.
Look at that. Jupiter waiting for Scrooble to get up next to them so they can get the last hit on the Bunnelby and make sure Scribblenaught evolves, finally hitting level 4.
And here we have the level 7 on the Venusaur. It does have the Petal Dance. They are dancing here as they move towards this central area fight.
Now it's just all about how Ignorance is going to play around Phalanx and play around So Sad Sam, and that's a tall order for a team like YT that's been playing fairly well these last couple games.
Love this play from YT. They said, you know what, I actually don't think we can catch this Umbreon right now. We're going to run down and score. Beautiful Rock Tomb, making sure that the Umbreon had to dash through it with foul play and not able to make it down to stop them from scoring. Points going in for Team YT. Really heads-up play by them.
I'm kind of surprised seeing the energy amp on the Giga Drain Petal Dance Venusaur. It's something that's sometimes switched out for a little bit more resiliency. But So Sad Sam says, I want to spam these Unites on cooldown. And right now, as they're building up, they just picked it up. That Unite move is in pocket for Sam.
And to be fair, energy amp on any Pokemon is pretty good, and Venusaur's Unite move is just such a difference maker, regardless of if it has the Solar Beam or not. We're looking to make this thing a raid boss. Now you just hit with this massive range Unite move and run at them with your Petal Dance.
Without a doubt, we're starting to work through this Registeel. Sam is putting the pressure on. Chaotic with some good spacing on Protein Shake, trapping them. Oh, Soup Chef getting exited into the wall, and a Kilo gets credit for that knockout. Protein Shake can't even engage because they got spaced out so well. Long-range Solar Beam out of Neon, can't quite lock it up. Chaotic secures another one for the team, and now they're on top of this goal zone if they want it.
Yeah, and here we go. We got 30 moving in from Chaotic right here. Nice big overcap for Team YT. Regieleki going the other way. Regieleki heading towards the top path of YT. They're probably going to lose that goal zone up there as Talon's going to have a hard time defending it. Really nice situation for Ignorance, leaving the goal at 1. Massive overcap.
38-point overdunk is going to shrink the score lead a little bit of YT. However, still ahead, and it's something to take inventory of, as Ignorance needs to start leveling up because they're trailing behind again.
Yeah, Ignorance is behind here. They're behind on score, a little behind on level. And it doesn't feel like they're gelling as well as they have in some of our previous games. I feel like this Venusaur was actually a real curveball for them, and it's been difficult for them to deal with. It's been crushing a lot of these fights. Scribblenauts
eating a fly, but it still takes a little bit more than that to take them out. Protein Shake actually isolates So Sad Sam. Akilo's there to try to give them some support. Big Unite move. The Verdant Anger takes out 2 players, and now they're looking for more. Fui crash landing on top of that Verdant Anger, and that's just an angry combination as more players are down. Now they're going straight for that goal zone.
Huge, 40 points from Talon, and it does make it in. The Umbreon Unite move is too late. Now Umbreon goes down in this top path. Team YT on an absolute run here.
Absolute rampage as well. Team YT, great use of the Verdant Anger. Protein Shake did everything they needed to. Isolated Sam. They pop the Verdant Anger right on time. Fui crash lands and takes a KO streak of 3.
One thing, I don't know if you've seen it here, Dupe Snacks, this overheat from Blaziken, it's obviously insanely powerful, but after Venusaur lands that Giga Drain, you get that big-time damage reduction on anything coming in. It actually has not chipped down this Venusaur very much at all. If they can hit a Giga Drain early in a fight, this thing is just so unbelievably powerful.
Pika really far forward again. Nice block to isolate Chaotic. They get put down. Pika Diff now getting rushed by Goopiter Neon. KO streak of 2 for Goop. They're going to look at this Registeel, and we're going to see if YT wants to make a play. So Sad Sam is coming down to protect this goal zone, and I think that's all they're going to do here is protect that goal zone.
Yeah, what a confusing moment for YT. It feels like communication-wise, they were just not on the same page. They had players kind of everywhere, and they had Chaotic and Pika Diff pushed really far forward towards the side of Ignorance, and you had to assume Ignorance could be there. There was only one objective on the map at that point.
Now everybody's peeling upstairs, and we're going to see what Ignorance wants to do here. They're looking to farm some wild Pokemon, and YT is just eating up in the middle. Will they go cross town, sit in the central, or will they try and contest this? Not even close. They can at least catch it, though, or if Ignorance gets a little too froggy, they can jump on it. Moving back forward here, no. Ignorance is just kind of running alongside, running in parallel to see where they can find their next opportunity.
And here we go down to our bottom path. We have Pika Diff trying to fight at this goal zone as multiple members of Ignorance come down to score here. Some points are going to Raiden. The Electro Ball helps pick up a big KO. Phalanx moves in with huge damage and a nice score. Now they are up 228 to 266, and we have a pause up on the main stage. It looks like we may have had a problem with one of the devices on stage, so we're going to make sure we can get that sorted out. Obviously, this match is so important. If a situation like that comes up, we have to address it right away. Pika Diff either showing him the problem or some pictures on his phone. Either way, I think the pause is warranted.
It would be weird if he was showing pictures of himself
Yeah.
on the device provided by Pokemon.
He was like, look at this picture I took of myself. But this guy's like, that's really great, but you need to get back to the match right now, I think. This is a great picture. I love it.
Yeah, it's good, man. Like, a thumbs up, dude.
Because, like, I really thought I looked great in this picture, guys, as we're getting ready for this one. Obviously, a serious thing is happening, but we refuse to take it seriously.
Yeah, well, let's try and focus on the scoreline that just got shrunk. Nice tier 1 siege there by Ignorance after getting a quick Regieleki. And again, YT kind of lost in the middle, not really achieving anything, didn't cut them off. You know, they started taking down the Regieleki. Only Pika Diff was there. They're able to get that, or excuse me, just Fui was there. Pika was trailing, and they're able to close that goal zone out after just one of the fastest KOs I've seen on a Talonflame.
Extremely quick, right? And now they are behind on score, but look at all the positives they have on their side. Level 13 Talon, level 13 Venusaur, and this is often the time you consider it a bit of a raid boss. You have that increased range on Petal Dance, and it just makes it so that Giga Drain is always up, essentially. You're always doing insane amounts of damage. You always have a Giga Drain for your opponents. As Team YT traveling like a pack here in this central area, looking for some KOs before Rayquaza. Again, for both of these teams, the entire tournament is on the line in this match. Both teams have a chance to go to Worlds in Honolulu, but they have to win here in the next 2 minutes.
Nice solar beam coverage there. They kind of, YT was looking for a quick pick and they couldn't quite sort that out. Great work by Soup Chef on the heavy slam block combo to separate and let that opportunity fall to the wayside for YT.
And here we go, beautiful stuff by YT. They're in position for it. Obviously Ignorance is not, but Ignorance is looking to catch someone from YT as they move up here. YT coming up, Talonflame moving around the side. Snorlax jumping in with a little bit of a heavy slam block, but
Goopiter sussed it out immediately. Fweeze at half HP. We're going straight to the middle. We're flying. We're going to crash land on top of Soup Chef, who goes into a power nap on top of Pika Dip. Solar Beam back through from Neon, and now everybody's popping the Rebel Rouser back in the middle. Vertinanger on a couple people. Petal Dance, Giga Drain. Talonflame zooms in, and they're trying to pick up a target. Low HP. Pika Dip's the first one to fall. They're trying to find the next target. They're moving towards the rest of YT. So sad, same as in the mix. Chaotic throws an Avalanche Blizzard combination. They can't find anybody. They find two. Just kidding. And now it's 4 players down for Ignis. YT flips this. They're all down. They're all down. Team YT supremacy. The ignorance of ignorance to try and take them in a fight at Ray in game 3. YT takes it.
YT takes Rayquaza. Now they just need to run and score. They are still behind, but they have some massive shields on their side as they're running towards this top goal zone. Venusaur in trouble. Blaziken looking at this top goal as 3 members of YT heads towards this bottom goal zone. Pikadiff in a beautiful position to score right now with a massive shield. 4 members of YT rush this goal zone, and they need to put points on the board, Doob Snacks.
They get a couple in there, and that's going to be enough to put them ahead, a little bit further ahead. YT's looking for more pressure, more points, more action, more smoke. 55 seconds left in this one, and YT is counting the chickens because they're about to hatch, boy.
They are about to hatch, and here comes Blaziken seeing if they can do anything about this. 50 more points in the hands of Eldegoss. They make it into the top path. 444, 228. YT is up. 40 seconds left, and it looks like Ignorance knows that their tournament life is over.
Soup Chef susses out Pikadiff, doesn't even press a button there. Ignorance going to make a best of it, though. They're down by 220 points, and they need to get this done now. They're starting to stack them in, but it's a hundo banger back the other way. Nice little block here to separate Pikadiff from the rest of the crowd. They rubberize back in. A big flame sweep that doesn't hit a wall, doesn't really hit many targets either, and YT's just counting the clock down. 10 seconds left until they're in the finals.
That's right. YT, of course, the team to do it, somehow making it to our grand finals. If they were going to qualify for Worlds, this is how Team YT does it.
This is, I said it yesterday, I said it today, this is the most Team YT tournament I've ever seen written, like without a doubt. And they stepped up. There was really some moments there where it was like, okay, things are looking a little shaky, right? And they had a great composition. They came together, and look, again, you can troll Chaotic all you want. If he's only got 2 picks,